Peace, peace. Touch this one. And I just want to read this biography about Reginald F. Lewis. A lot of people don't know about Reginald Lewis, but he was the first black billionaire back in the 1980s, and he just somehow mysteriously died. Now, I heard about him through Nas. Um, on the Nigga album, Nas got a song where he give a shout out to Reginald Lewis or whatever. Check, I forgot the name of the song. I think the song is "We're Not Alone" or whatever. But you guys can check it out. It's on the Nigga album. Or the Nigga album is very deep too, by the way. But I'm just gonna read a little commentary. I got a video that I'm probably gonna put up with this or whatever. So let's just read through it. All right. I ain't got my glasses on, so just bear with me, people. All right. It's kind of late too. So it say Reginald F. Lewis was born December 7th. So he was a Sagittarius, 1942. It's in East Baltimore. Neighborhood has once described as semi-tough. Lewis was strongly influenced by his family, his parents, his grandparents, his say uncles and aunts. Always encouraged Lewis to be the best that he can be. Reginald's grandmother would teach him the importance of saving, even cutting and peeling strips from the bottom of tin can and nail it to the floor of the no, it say nail it to the floor of a closet to protect his savings. It say at the age of 10, Lewis set up a delivery route to sell African American newspapers after building the business from 10 customers to more than 100 in 2 years. He sold the route as a profit. Lewis' grandfather, head waiter at the Maitre D at a private country club. It was while working there as a teenager that Lewis says his grandfather advised him, know your job and do it well. Say he also told Reginald stories about Paris during World War One, cultivating him a lifelong, a lifelong love of French language, food, and culture. Early education. It's a Reginald family stressed the value of education and early age. Lewis received early schooling from Oblate Sisters of Providence. It's established by the woman of African descent whose mission was teaching and caring for African American children. It's a later Dunbar High School. It's a he distinguished himself as an athlete on the playing field and a hard working student in the classroom. They say he was a quarterback from the football team. They say shortstop, varsity baseball, and a forward on the basketball team and was the captain of all three. Lewis was elected vice president of the student body. He's very intelligent. All right. So say Reginald Lewis entered Virginia State University in 1961, saying on a football scholarship. An injury cut short his football career. He focused on school and work. They say one of his job was a photographer, sales assistant. He generated so much business that he was offered a partnership. Reginald declined because he had a he had bigger things in mind for the future. It's a handwritten schedule that he kept says to be a good lawyer one must study hard. So he did graduating on the dean's list and say his senior year. So I guess there's some images of the brother right here. It say, all right, so it say on to Harvard. Now this is when we get the weird part right here. It's saying 1965, the Rockefeller Foundation. So anything with the Rockefellers, you already know this Illuminati conspiracy shit come up. Funded a summer student program at Harvard Law. They say schools to introduce a select number of black students to legal studies. They say Reginald lobbied for his acceptance and got it. He made such an impression that Lewis was invited to the Harvard Law School that fall. The only person in 148 years of the school to be admitted by applying. During his third year at Harvard Law, Lewis discovered a direction his career would take as a result of course on security law. So his senior year thesis on mergers and associations, whatever, received the honor grade. Those of us on the faculty who saw who saw in him then the promise of greatness had no idea of extraordinary achievements B was to obtain. They say Frank Sanders, professor at law. Yeah, all right. I bet you didn't know what the black guy could do when he ain't on crack cocaine and he ain't got to worry about being a drug dealer, having these influence of these rappers. So moving on. All right. They say after his graduation, they say in '68. They say so he graduated in '68. So he graduated before they was even calling people African Americans or whatever. But so another story. You people be on code. You already know they wasn't using the word African American back then. So Lewis landed a job practicing corporate law with a prestigious New York law firm. 2 years later, he, along with a few others, set up a Wall Street first African American law firm. So he had other black people that he was bringing in. They say focus on corporate law. They say structuring investments in minority owned businesses. Wow. They say and became special counsel to major corporations like General Food and Equitable Life. They say now AXA. They say RFL. They say it was counsel to the New York-based Commission for Racial Justice. They say and represented the Wilmington 10. Say he was successful in forcing North Carolina to pay interest on Wilmington 10 bound. Wow, so he was fighting for black people. So he just wasn't no coon or no sellout. All right, now look, let's go into this. Right? So it's a merger of of acquisition. So I can't pronounce that word. Strategy. It's a desire to do the deals myself. So they led Lewis to establish the TLC Group LP in 1983. His first successful venture was the $22.5 million leverage buyout of McCall Patterson Company. It was a struggling business in a declining industry. Lewis Saint line operations, increased marketing, and led the company to two of the most profitable years in McCall. It's a 130-year history. So in the summer of '89, he sold the company for 65 million, making a 9-to-1 return on his investment. So this brother right here was gifted. It's a the 985 million leverage buyout. It's a fresh to the hills of the McCall deal. Lewis purchased the international division of Beatrice Foods. I don't know if you guys remember Beatrice Foods, but this is back in the day. It's a 64 companies in 31 countries. It's a in August 1987, the deal was supported by the most powerful investment banker, then Drexel Burnham Lambert, and led by high yield bound King Michael Michael Robert Melkin Lewis. And after closing the deal in December 1987, rebranded the corporation as TLC Beatrice International Inc. at 985 million. The deal was the largest offshore leverage buyout even by an American company, as the chairman CEO moved quickly to reposition the company, pay down the debt, and vastly increase the company worth with revenues of 1.5 billion. TLC Beatrice made it to the Fortune 500 company. Was the first black enterprise list on the top 100 African American owned businesses. So here you go right here, man. Man. this brother right here. You want me? All right, so let's just go on to the next page. Let's read this. It say a tradition to eternal life. It say in 1983, at age 50, Reginald F. Lewis died of a short illness. A letter at his funeral from longtime friend David N. Dinkins, former mayor of New York, Reginald Lewis accompanied more than a half of century than most of us could ever dream imaginable, and his brilliant career was matched always by a warm and generous heart. Thinking added, it is said that service service to others is the rent we pay on earth. Reginald Lewis departed us paid in full. They say Reginald Lewis held close to his dream. They say it was a dream filled by imagination, inspiration, and dedication. They say honors David and Dinkins. The legacy continues even after death. Lewis philanthropic endeavors continue. He had he had expressed a desire to support a museum of African American culture. They say in 2002, the Maryland State Ledger. See, hold up. All right, all right. So they weren't even calling us African Americans. So I'm quite sure for him to make a dream about that, they weren't even calling us African Americans to '89. So how was he? I'm quite sure it said, hold up, it say a lifelong dream. So how was he dreaming this when they wouldn't even call us African Americans? Okay, they say the Maryland State Ledger allocated 22 million dollars for the Museum of the Maryland African American History. See, it's saying the culture 10 be built near Baltimore. I'm done. I'm not reading no more of this, man. Listen, check this out, bro. This is on Reginald Lewis' page. This is his biography. You already know. Ain't nowhere in the world at no 50 years old this man was making all these moves and he just mysteriously died. Right now, look. I'm not even gonna go into some of the conspiracies that I already heard and that I know, but I think his wife might have been a handler, and this is just something I'm just putting out there. They might, the Illuminati might have sent his wife at him, or whatever, or maybe not, because he might have been married earlier before she even knew he was going to be successful. But once he was successful, like I said, they can always use these people as agents. Now I'm just making an assumption. That's just one assumption, but I am more than sure that they killed his brother because this brother was making too many moves. He was making too many moves in a little bit of time. He was a billionaire. He was a billionaire. He died at 50 years old. But these Europeans get 5 and 6 heart transplants and they get to live to be 90. But this man dies at 50. Are you serious? So this man was very intelligent. He was an athlete, and you want me to believe he wasn't overweight. He didn't look like he was suffering from anything or whatever. He just mysteriously died. This is what they do, and I know people saying that this is a conspiracy, but hey, man, conspiracies exist. So definitely check it out, man. This is the brother right here. You know what I'm saying? Reginald F. Lewis, the billionaire, very brilliant man, or whatever. Definitely check him out. With that being said, I'm gonna touch this one. Peace.
I think there's an abundance of talent in America. Perhaps our most underutilized pool of talent is in the inner cities and in some of our rural communities. And I think America is at a place now where we simply can't afford to not develop all of our human resources. Pool of talent is in the inner cities and in some of our rural communities. And I think America is at a place now where we simply can't afford to not develop all of our human resources. Pool of talent is in the inner cities and in some of our rural communities. And I think America is at a place now where we simply can't afford to not develop all of our human resources.
He was born decent.